This show is brought to you by HostBaby.com, web hosting for musicians.
Here on episode 44 of Music Marketing Monday, we discuss playing for free. Should you do it? When should you do it? For how long should you do it? Yes, this was a listener question, and we give our answers right here, right now. Let's go.
Information, inspiration, motivation for the modern musicpreneur.
Time to start your week right.
Here it comes, Music Marketing Monday, with your host, Bob Baker,
Mr. Buzz Factor,
and Billy Gryzak.
The Music Marketing Mind.
Ready? Are you sure?
Set.
Here it comes. Swing, baby.
Yeah, how you doing? So here's the deal. I got this gig. It's going to be great exposure. All you got to do is show up, play for 8 hours for 18,000 people. Now, yeah, I'm charging $42,000 at the door for people to come in, but it's going to be great exposure for your band. So I really think you should do it. No, I don't think so. Hey, I have no idea what I was just talking about or where that accent came from. You are listening to Music Marketing Monday. My name is Billy Gryzak, the Music Marketing Mind, and over there wondering what the heck is going on is...
It's Bob Baker, Mr. Buzz Factor. No, I totally related to what you were saying there. It's like, I can't pay you, but I tell you what, we've got a popcorn machine here. You can have all the popcorn you want.
Yeah, man.
Really. I'll even hook you up with the bartender.
Yeah.
Something.
Okay, that's really good, Bob. Yeah, people are hitting unsubscribe as we talk. Right?
I'm hearkening back to my days in the 20s, and when in my 20s, not the 20s.
Yeah, see, you're going to play for free. Anyway,
you know what? This is totally off topic, but we are recording this a little ahead of time. And today, I'm so thrilled. It's Elvis Presley's birthday, January 8th.
Yeah.
And you know how old he would have been today had he still, well, assuming he's not alive.
102.
He would have been 80.
Wow.
80. He was born in 1935. Little side note there. So yes, I'm honoring the king today as we dive into this. But what's our topic today, Billy?
I have no idea. Actually, no. It's awesome. One of our regular listeners who actually sits through all of the crap that we do at the beginning of the show every week took the time to ask us a question on SpeakPipe. And first of all, I want to tell you a little bit about this band. I love them, okay? Not just their music, not just their attitude, but the fact of who they are and what they do. Andrew and his brother, what's his brother's name? Do you remember?
I do not know.
Oh, gosh, Andy's going to just be really angry with me. Sorry, guys. But anyway, this is a really good thing because then you can all visit their website and find out all about them yourself, which we'll tell you in a minute. But Room 24, this is a band of, check it out, teenagers that are soaking up the knowledge and really going for it, and I love these guys. And they sent us this question, and what do you say we listen to it, and then we could talk a little bit more about them and discuss their, see if we have some answers for them.
Let's do that. Take it away, Andrew.
Yeah.
Hey, Billy. My band is wondering about your thoughts on musicians doing unpaid gigs for the exposure. We're still building up our fan base, so taking unpaid gigs so that people have a chance to hear us and then hopefully become fans is what we do a lot of. At what point should bands transition to doing only paid gigs and doing unpaid gigs only for things like fundraisers for a cause you support? What are things to consider when deciding if exposure from an unpaid gig is worthwhile? Or if taking the gig is just setting you up for venues and events not to value you and not want to pay you in the future.
Thanks a lot, Andrew. That was awesome. Again, that's Andrew from the band Room 24 from Austin, Texas. He's also a regular participant in our weekly Twitter chats that take place every Monday at 3 p.m. Eastern. And so, this is a good question. Where do we start here? Playing for free. I assume, Mr. Gryzak, that you have done a few free gigs here and there over the years.
Oh my, have I. and I have a lot to say about it, but we're not going to let me start because then the episode will be 14 hours. So
that's right.
I'll be your wingman on this one for a bit.
All right, let me just dive into this. And so I probably think I've touched on this here and there throughout our episodes and over the years. Certainly, to me, it's sort of depend. And I guess we need to define. He's talking about venue gigs because there's all sorts of performance opportunities, of course. But to me, it all depends on where you are in the evolution of your career. And I think the same thing applies to free gigs as it does to how much free music should you give away. Now, we've already established that Andrew and his brother and I think they're a trio, right? I think there's just three of them in the photo.
Yes, they are.
And I'm actually not sure. I need to find out which one is Andrew in that photo.
He's the drummer. He's the one with the short curly hair.
Okay, so he's in the middle of the one photo when he's on the drums and all right. So he's the drummer. Okay, good. Now I have a face with a name, and his chat texts can identify now. So we've established that there are teens, and so I'm assuming they're fairly early in their music careers. And so the earlier you are in your music career, the more willing you should be to get exposure by any means necessary. So that means playing wherever there's an opportunity. That means, you may have to give away a lot of your music at first just to build up a fan base and create awareness. Because as we talked about many months ago, and in the 3 steps to effective music marketing, the first all-important step is creating awareness. People have to know who you are before you can build upon that. And so it's okay to do that. And then as you start to gain traction, you get a little bit more, you can take a little bit more of a control and start limiting the number of free things that you do, start finding money-making opportunities, insisting or being a little bit more, confident in asking for money or expecting to be paid. And then the more popular you get, the more established you get, the less and less of those things that you're willing to do for free and being taken advantage of by people going, hey, I can't pay you, but it'll be great exposure or popcorn. So your initial thoughts there. I have other ideas here, but I want to just sort of take this one step at a time.
Right. Well, I think in the beginning, it's good to be seen as often as possible. And actually, I could sort of take that back. At any time in your career, it's important to be seen as often as possible. That's just my opinion. As far as playing for free goes, I still play for free if the circumstances warrant it. I guess what it all boils down to for me is this. Why are you doing it? Same thing I always ask people when they want to give music away. Some people just give music away because everybody else does it, And for me, that's just not a good enough reason. Look, all those people over there lined up on the cliff and they're jumping off one after another. Let's go do it too. Now, if the reason they're jumping off the cliff is because there's a big giant monster chasing them and it's their only chance to survive, great. But if they're just doing it because everybody else is doing it, not so great. So,
right. As you mentioned before, there should be a strategy or a plan to everything you do. And that kind of is the answer to that. Why are you doing it?
Right. So my bottom line is you want to play for free. Why? Well, some of the reasons you might want to play for free are, your band is new and you just need to get out and practice in front of people because there's a big difference between playing in your garage and playing out in front of people. There's more pressure. You can't think straight. You can't start over. So that's probably a good thing. You know what I mean? Or is it exposure? Is there a promise of work? Do you get to open with a band you really want to open for just to be on stage with them to add to your resume? Is it a benefit? Is it for a cause? I mean, gosh, there's so many instances that go into it. I will say this. Whenever I've been in a project that I loved and I was willing to play for free because I loved it that much, I always found that the money would follow. So that's another thing to consider.
Mm-hmm. I like this. Yeah, honing your performance skills. Obviously, yeah, a big reason. Getting exposure, the classic, and then for a good cause. What was I going to say here? Oh, here's the big reason. I think when your big why you should perform free or give away your music, and that is if it's connected to a strategy to build your mailing list. So that would mean that you would have to have mechanisms in place to capture names and emails. And so when you play out, you got to have a regular way of announcing from the stage and people you talk to, hey, if you want some of this music for free, that's actually a great way to tie them both in. Come over, give one of us your name or your email, or put it on the note on the sign up form over at the merch table, or walk around with an iPad or something and collect them digitally. Whatever that is, if it's connected to a strategy to build your email list, that would be smart use of that. What do you think?
Absolutely. In fact, I might just, totally blow the whole episode right now, and it might be over with this statement. But even though I said I do things for free, I like to take that back, because I don't believe you should ever do anything for free. All right. What I believe is that there has to be value in it for you. Okay. So value could be in some cases, again, you want to be seen by the right people. Okay. Getting the people on the mailing list, getting people to go to your next show, selling your CD, crowdfunding your CD, crowdfunding equipment, any of that kind of stuff. And also, here's something really important. Just because something's free doesn't mean it's totally free. Like, for instance, somebody says to you, "I want you to play this gig." Well, you have to look at it like this. Well, how far away is the show? And it's going to take me this much gas money, and I got to feed the band. So even if they're asking you to play for free, there's no reason why you shouldn't say things like, "Great, can you cover my gas money? Can you feed the band? If it's a distance, can you compass a room? Can we get a place to stay that night?" You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Ask for a pizza. If it's a bar or a restaurant, always get something. There's this really great podcast episode by a show I think that's not being run anymore, but it was a great show. It's called Work Hard and Rock Harder, I think, and it was by Chris Seth Jackson, who's doing Bam Ding now. And he had this fellow on that says how to get paid every time for every gig, even when nobody else is, right? And we talked about him, didn't we talk about him, where there's this guy that says he'll ask for $1. Like if he does an open mic and everybody's playing for free, he'll say, "Well, I'm a professional. All these other guys aren't. So all I ask is that you give me $1 for a show." And then, and he says, and then if he goes up and he kills it, a lot of times that the people that are running things feel bad only giving him $1. So they'll give him like $5 or $10 or $20 or give him a pizza or something because they feel bad saying, "You were fantastic. Here's $1." You know what I mean? So,
wow.
So
I don't, it sounds familiar. I'm not sure if we ever covered it.
Oh, well,
that is really cool.
I'll look the guy's name up and maybe we can do a show on that, or something. But so the concept here is differentiate yourself as soon as you can from the other groups that are going to do it for free and find an angle. When a great angle too is also media. Were you going to talk about media exposure for free gigs, Pop?
I was not, but that's another good reason, especially like with a fundraiser or something that's going to be getting attention. That's always a bonus. Right.
Or even just asking, like, even if it's not, for instance, they say, "We want you to come and do this show." One thing that I'll say sometimes is, I say, "That's great, by the way. Do you have an affiliation with any of the local TV stations or newspapers?" And sometimes I'll say, "Do you advertise on, the local TV station?" Maybe you could call them and say, "Hey, man, we're starting up live music, or we're having a show, we're having a benefit. You want to get these guys on as a musical guest?" And sometimes I'll get TV exposure for a free gig, which is really great. You know what I mean? Or a newspaper write-up. So, again...
I'm sorry. Go ahead and finish your thought.
Yeah, so again... There is no free, really, in my world. I mean, I do unpaid, what people would consider unpaid gigs, but I always try to find the value in it for me and the group that I'm with in some way, whatever that is. You know what I mean? So there you go.
Yeah, and actually, speaking of that, I made some notes as you were talking there. Basically, any transaction you enter into, you need to think of it as a value exchange. So, if you're selling someone a CD or a download card or whatever, they're giving you money, but you're giving them the value and the good feelings and the good vibes that come with that they are going to experience when they enjoy your music for, umpteen times in the future. But the same thing with gigs. It's a value exchange, but there's a conundrum with that because I think, as we've stressed many times over these episodes, a lot of people go into transactions only going, what's in it for me? Me. So we always talk about, it's not about you. It's about, when you're approaching people, it's like, what do you have of value for them? Start with that so you don't come off as a taker. However, there is that other side of the coin, especially when someone's approaching you to play for free, or you approach a venue and they want you to, they can't afford to pay you. That does have to enter the equation. Well, what will I